a lot of music memories. And this is Branded After Dark. Your man Branded in the house tonight. And, we was talking about history, and we was talking about Marvin Gaye and his music legacy. And, who better to talk about it than Miss Jan Gaye, who is on Branded After Dark tonight right now. Good evening,
Hello.
sweetie.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain.
Well, first off, I want to thank you, not just for calling in and to talk not just music, but, the legacy of your late husband. But I appreciate you taking the time out to listen and to hear some of the, good things that Marvin Gaye's music has meant to so many people still to this day. So thank you very much.
Oh, that's not a problem, and it's always a pleasure to hear that. Every time I hear that he's, still got that good thing going with people, it's something to be grateful for on different levels. So
when you hear that spanning different generations, not just the generations of when he first came out to his passing, but you get it from a lot of late teens and early 20s and
right.
and people that may have not been around or whatnot. I mean, is that like a different kind of culture shock to you, just kind of listening to it? I mean, is it a surreal type of feeling?
Well, it's an honor in a way for us as a family, because I speak for myself and my children, my grandchildren, to look and see and hear that young kids, of a different generation, hear Marvin's music, understand it, relate to it, especially lyrically. And I'm speaking right now specifically about the What's Going On album. With the state of the world and what is going on, it's so it's a comfort to us, and it's an honor for us to be part of his family. So
and it's funny that you mentioned What's Going On, because that song in itself, you can hit it for so many different decades and it still has the same meaning, because there's still so much stuff going on that he was literally talking about. It's crazy. It's crazy.
There's too much going on. Way too much going on. So I'm sure if Marvin were alive today, he would be able to write another album that would, complement that and make a commentary on exactly what is going on in the world that we don't need. And it's almost like when I listen to it, because I listen to it with my grandson. He's 14, and he'll say to me, "Well, Grammy, I heard that there were birds falling out of the sky, or that fish are washing up on shore." He said, "It's just like what Grandpa was talking about." I said, "Yeah, unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. Grandpa had a sense 40 years ago."
Right.
That we were going maybe not as forward as we would like, and maybe taking a few steps back every now and then. So I don't know. It's timeless, and unfortunately, as wonderful as the music is lyrically, and what Marvin was talking about, a lot of it's very sad and disheartening, but uplifting at the same time. It kind of gives you hope in a way.
Absolutely.
When you look to the big picture, it's not a letter of doom to the earth. It's wake up before we lose everything that we have. So
absolutely. And I feel throughout music history, it's kind of like musicians. I see them as visionaries, especially when the meaningful songs that's being written, and not the selfish kind of songs that's, a lot of people are allegedly or quoted as portraying these day and ages. But, it's being able to, just be honest with the world and with yourself about the world, to be able to write certain things like that. So, I mean, do you see it as musicians being that way too when they really sit down and dig within themselves and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do something for the people and not for myself.
Mhm. I think there are a lot of artists out there that speak directly to the people, but at the same time, you have to remember that music is something that is for the individual, and one message may not be relevant to one particular person.
Right.
They may want to look to music as something for fun or whatever. Music is all things to all people. But it's different. It's kind of a hard thing to explain. It's like going to a supermarket and saying, "Well, would you like to have lamb or beef or chicken or fish? What's your preference?"
Right.
It's all a matter of taste. But I think there's a lot of young artists out there today, and it puts a smile on my face anyway, when people either get their message across, whatever it may be, or when they do their best to interpret Marvin's music. I think it's great. I look at new music like Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay, and all we can do is smile about it. It's got nothing. There's no political viewpoint there. It's just a song about something completely different.
Right.
The other end of the spectrum, if you will, and but it doesn't make it any less great. It's just that I know that Marvin's brand of music is carried throughout the ages, and I particularly, I don't know, having spanned several decades now, more than I choose to think about, but grateful that I'm still here.
You're still young. You're still young.
No, I'm not young by any means. Unless I live to be 100, I'm definitely beyond middle age. But that's fine too. I'm grateful that I'm here, and I'm grateful to be here with my children and my grandchildren. As I said, it's a great comfort to me.
The music of Marvin Gaye is one where it's been often sampled, can never be duplicated, and there really can never be someone that will be, and that's probably why you don't hear it nowadays, that okay, well, he's going to be the next Marvin Gaye. You don't never hear that, because he was one of a kind musically with his art form. And you brought up something about just the craft of music and people's tastes. And I've always see anytime that people can put out some music, you have a talent, a God-given talent. And I always believe, though, what you do with that talent and how you expand your gift to other people so they can either be inspired or whatnot. I think that's why people like Marvin Gaye will stand the test of time, because his music did inspire so many different people.
Right. Sometimes it's a little bit scary for me. I'll hear someone say, a younger person say, well, what songs did he sing? I've heard his name, and but I don't know what songs he sang. And then I have to go into my, my thing that I go into, a little bit of education. And
you have to be a teacher. Right?
Sometimes you do. Right. But the great thing is that I've never talked to anyone that wasn't receptive to hearing it. And then maybe by playing one of Marvin's songs, saying, "Oh, I know the voice. Oh, okay. Oh, he did that song too, and this, and this, and this." So he's in people's psyche, whether they like it or not, either by just association, or maybe they heard their grandparents playing his music, and subconsciously remember and need to be reminded. And I'm always willing to do that, at any given moment. If you've never heard of Marvin Gaye, you will by the time we finish talking.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Amen to that. Do you feel like there needs to be enough young people searching for music history instead of worrying about the here and now? Because to me, I always kind of see it as part of a a legacy. It's kind of like you always, especially when it comes to music, you have to go back to remember how it was compared to how it is now to show that appreciation.
Well, I think if you're really interested in music appreciation and uh, uh, Marvin's particular art form, sometimes you do have to revisit the past, and because unless you're listening to a remix or something that's got a sample of Marvin's in it, we're not going to get anything new, unfortunately. I can only imagine the kind of music he would be doing were he alive today.
Absolutely.
And that makes me sad sometimes to think of what he never got a chance to do. But at the same time, I'm so incredibly grateful for the body of work that he did leave us all, the legacy that he did leave for not just for us, but for the world, and that he's still so widely appreciated, here and around the world. So that I can't complain about that. But you do have you have to go back.
Absolutely.
You have to go back and listen and absorb.
You have so many of Marvin's fans throughout the I said it earlier today or earlier this evening, throughout the universe, that so many of us have been hearing, or not necessarily hearing, but it's been kind of like bantered about for a long time about a particular movie that could be, should be, or would be made in the near future. Is that does that ring any kind of truth as far as something possibly down the line about Marvin's career being on the big screen?
Well, there have been many, many, many people that have tried, and it's been it'll be 29 years this year.
Yep.
That since he's been gone, and I expect that people will continue to try. But when you look at someone like Marvin, he was so complex.
Right.
And had such a unique look that it's hard to say, why don't we get, I don't want to name any names, but, there's a few actors out there that might be able to tackle the task. I have one, that's close to my heart that I think could do a great job.
Right.
But then I hear stories, and I'll talk to my son, one of my sons or my daughter, and say, "Oh, I hear that so-and-so's doing a movie about your dad," and they'll just look at me like, "What? Who? Oh, come on, Mom. Give me a break. They can't play Dad." And I have to say, there have been some great people that have been suggested, but we haven't just the right person hasn't come along, the right situation hasn't come along, and there have been some nightmare situations that I'm glad are long gone and in the past.
Right.
So who can say? I mean, I don't mean to speak in code or be mysterious about it, but
you're fine.
I wish I could say that there was a movie in production right now about Marvin with the person that I think should play him, and all I can do is pray that it happens. I would like for it to happen in my lifetime, and my children's lifetime, or my grandson's lifetime. It's just been a very tough situation to put all of the elements together to make the kind of movie that Marvin deserves. He doesn't deserve something that's slapped together. He deserves something that's A-class, number one, from beginning to end.
And I was going to say that because I feel like, especially with not just Marvin Gaye's stature, as far as how much he meant so much to so many in the millions and beyond, you can't just put a B-list script together or
Right.
B-list acting class together to be able to do an A-plus list script and carry on that music through movie that
Right.
Marvin Gaye portrayed. You can't really do that.
No, you can't. And when you think about the fact that Marvin only lived to be 44, to try and tell his entire life story, I would say is impossible, because there were so many facets and so many people in his life and so many situations. To tell a well-rounded story, you'd have to do it in 3 parts. You can't pack it into an hour and 10 minutes, or I'm sorry, an hour, like an hour and, I don't know,
hour and 30
minutes.
Or,
yeah.
Right.
It would have to be a 4-hour Godfather style, part 1, part 2, part 3, to get all the faces of Marvin and all the, like I said, all the facets of his life. So rather than having it all spread out that way and not really doing a great job on the whole thing, I believe that if there is a movie done, that they should concentrate on, a certain portion of his life and tell the rest of it peripherally. So we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully before my time comes, that it does happen, and it happens with the right director, the right script, the right cast, and a talented gentleman to play the lead role. Because he's got to
embody the part.
And that's such a hard thing to do. I mean,
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, to find anyone that is that incredibly gorgeous. Sorry if I'm a little biased.
No, you're good. You're good.
And someone who can bring the passion of the man himself to the screen and make it believable, and have it be really good acting rather than an imitation, a poor imitation. That would be tragic.
You don't have to give us a list.
A lousy film about Marvin is a nightmare to me.
I agree. I completely agree, because it wouldn't do his legacy any justice if it would. And to me, I'm glad that you actually put it out there like that, because you don't want to settle for just any script, any cast, anything at all, but the best thing that's going to be right for you, your kids, your grandkids, and his legacy. That is perfect.
Right,
I couldn't
and
have said it better myself.
His fans, that's a huge concern for the family and, what we think. And when I say family, I mean Marvin's own family, his children. They're the ones that, they're all adults now. So they're the ones that, they remember their father. They were there. And luckily some people have respected what they think about their father and the story that's going to be told. And then there are others who could care less what the children think. It's all about money. But God's been right there all along, which has been such a blessing for us, that something tragic has not happened, and has not been a bad film about Marvin has not been allowed to slip through the cracks and be out there. We want the fans to have something to be proud of themselves, because it's not just about the family. Obviously, it's about his family of fans. There's so many people that write to me and write to my daughter or write to my sons, and they look to us to stay close to him, and we do our best to accommodate and are happy to do it, because he's been gone for so long.
Yeah. So and you said we're fast approaching the anniversary and things like that as well. And when it comes to when it comes to music in general, I know you've kind of talked about it a little briefly, but when it comes to just people carrying legacies and what it takes, like, you know, you've seen firsthand from Marvin Gaye what it took, the dedication, the sacrifice, things like that. Do you see that nowadays in 2012 when it comes to just, you know, specific artists in general? I mean, do you kind of feel it's going in the right direction when it comes to just leaving a music legacy only, not anything personal, but just how they carry themselves with what they do musically?
Yeah, I see a lot of great artists out there that I have great respect for, through because it's kind of a double-edged sword. You can make great music, but you have to live life at the same time, and sometimes life is not always as kind as we would like, but you have to get through it the best way that you know how. And I see some artists out there that make great music, but maybe in their personal lives they're having challenges. So I say bravo to any artist really that can weather the storm of the difficulties of being in the music business in the first place, but also putting out great product that either inspires or, music for the sheer enjoyment of it. It doesn't have to be a statement. It can be, whatever that person is putting out. I have artists that I love to this day that, I think are great. It's been
that
really
brings
rough.
one of my next questions before we let you go as well. What is in Mrs. Jan Gaye's CD player at this point in time? CD player, iPod. What do you listen to?
Oh my goodness, I listen to a little bit of everything, but obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but I would say I'm wagering a guess that I've been listening to Whitney for the last week. We, as a family, we're all huge fans of hers, and she's someone whose music is at that level of, she was a legacy before she passed on.
Absolutely.
And she had her. It's hard to speak about it, and I get really emotional. But
you know what? I'm the same way, Jan, because I mean, the only thing us as media folks can do is just rush to, our switchboard and play music in honor of her her legacy. But to this day, still, and even though her funeral was yesterday, it still doesn't sit right with me. I still can't sleep at night on occasion, and it just feels like it's wrong for her to not be on this earth. It's just, the selfish part of us, right?
That's how we all feel, I think, and it brought back so many feelings when I first heard that she had passed. It brought back feelings from when Marvin was killed, and it caught everyone off guard.
Right.
So I don't know. I just, my heart goes out to Bobby, Christina, and to Miss Sissy, and the entire family. That they have the strength to get through this, because those feelings of hopelessness, they will pass. It takes time, but it's a process that they have to, unfortunately, have to go through. She was gone much too young, much too soon, in our opinion. But, that's not for us to decide. God called her home for a reason. Yeah. And whenever anyone passes, when Don Cornelius passed away, when Tina Marie passed away, we as human beings, living human beings, don't always understand. And we're left behind to grieve for them. But in grieving, we honor them. And where Whitney is concerned. That's really all we've been listening to, for all of us. Because my family, my little family is very small, very tight, and I don't know, we all listen to the same thing. So for now, our hearts are with Whitney, and the joy that she brought. What a treasure! What a treasure!
Voice. One
Absolutely.
of the best ever.
Yeah.
One of the best ever.
But just beyond, and not to belittle anyone anywhere, beyond listening to Whitney in my iPod, I listen to people like Maxwell. I'm a huge Maxwell fan.
Okay.
But I also listen to, other kinds of music. I'm not allowed to listen to too much hip-hop or too much rap when the kids are around, but when they're not around, I listen to what the heck I want. So and a lot of times I feel kind of silly, but at the same time I'm entitled to listen to what I like. If I want to listen to, little T.I. here or whatever it happens to be, that's what I'm going to do. But it can go from T.I. to Frank Sinatra in a heartbeat.
I heard that. I love, that's what's up. I love that, because to me, you're always supposed to be open to different genres of music, and whatever sounds good to your ears is what you should hear, right?
That's it. That's the power of music. I once heard the African artist Youssou N'Dour simply, and I took this one thing away from listening to him speak. And he said, music is power. So I had that engraved on my iPod. Since you were mentioning iPods, I have mine is purple, and I had it engraved with music is power. And it is.
There you go.
It has the power to do so many things. And it has a healing quality. It has it can be exciting. It can be romantic. It can be political. It can be what you need it to be. And that's the power of it all. So I'm
people do, and go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I'm forever grateful that I've been able to know so many of the greats in the music business, and a little bit of me hurts every time one of them leaves us, but they leave their music with us, and that's power in itself.
That's right. So. It's God's gift. God's gift. It's for us to be able to, listen to and appreciate, not just Whitney, of course, your husband as well, and and that's the best blessing that any artist can give us, is because and that goes to show you that people should never take music for granted, because it is a treasure. It's God's gift that is given. So it's people should appreciate that. Before I let you go, I know a lot of people out there is asking, does Miss Gaye have any social media things, Twitter, Facebook, website, things like that, so they can be able to reach out and communicate with you?
Well, right now, I have a Facebook page. It's Janice Gaye, and I haven't really figured out how to tweet. I've tried, and I get a few peeps out every now and then, but for the most part, I stick to Facebook because I finally my grandson had to teach me how to do it, but I've figured it out how to put pictures up and the whole thing. So, but there's also a family page that the kids did themselves that they wanted to do, that has nothing to do with anyone else. It's just their own thing for their father, their grandfather, and they all participate and have a good time with it. So there's some great photographs there and great photographs on my page. So feel free to go and take a look. You may not always like what you hear, because I can be very opinionated about certain things, but I think that's what life is about, is being able to express yourself. And That's
Yeah,
just
I would
like
respect
everyone
you.
else.
I would respect you a whole lot more if you did have an opinion and you didn't hold back. So, most people should appreciate that. Some people probably don't know how to handle it, but that's okay though.
Well, I have to hold back a little bit, otherwise no one would want to go to the page at all and say, "Oh boy, this is just too much."
You're like, "Whoo, Janice is going in again."
Yeah, she's may want to visit somebody else's page.
Make sure people go ahead and check her out on Facebook. Just search Janice Gaye on Facebook as well, and of course we definitely got to shout out Mr. Kevin Gray, KG.
Oh, absolutely, Kevin.
He is one of the greatest.
Absolutely terrific, and has been really on top of things, and I am so grateful to him for putting this all together. So, yes.
Absolutely. And what I would like to do, Janice, is anytime that you feel like you need a voice to be able to put out there for hundreds of thousands of listeners, make sure you come on this network, hang out with us, talk music, talk anything that you feel like you need to. Where people on Facebook may think you have a strong opinion, when you're on radio talking about it, they love you. So
all right.
You can come say whatever you want to say on here.
I'll be calling you back when it's time for everyone to get out and vote. That's for sure.
There you go. There you go.
That's something I'm very passionate about. So yeah, we can talk about that for sure.
Absolutely, and I will be on your Facebook page to show my gratitude shortly. And again, I appreciate it. Thank you, not just for you coming on to the show. Thank you for maintaining a strong hold on Marvin Gaye's legacy, because like I said, most people would accept any and everything. You will not and won't do, and I love you for it, because there needs to be more people that appreciate Legacies and the fans and the family like you do, and I can only say that, and there's so much more I would love to, but thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, well, you're absolutely welcome, and it's my honor, and I just want to, just in closing say once again that our prayers and our love go out to the Houston family, specifically Chrissy and Miss Sissy and Miss Dion, that we love them. They're in our prayers and our thoughts, and we hope that the healing can begin soon.
Thank you, and blessings to you and the family.
Thank you, and God bless.
You too.